Hi guys, it's April. I'm wearing the Fitbit today in case you can see this beautiful sunburn that I got. And when I'm flailing my arms around, you guys can see where the tan lines came from and not be like, April, didn't you notice that you have a strip of white on your very red skin? Yes, guys. Yes, I noticed. Monthly Recommendations was started by Trina and Kayla. They are two of the most wonderful booktubers here. So I will link all their information down below, along with the information about the monthly recommendation group in case you would like to find some more monthly recommendation reads or want to just join the group. Now this month's recommendation topic is friendships. I do enjoy a very well-defined friendship where the development in the story revolves around this friendship dynamic. A lot of the times it is hard to find a story focused solely on friendship, at least in the genres that I typically am drawn to. So with this month, I have a feeling that I'm going to be adding a lot of books to my reading list, which is good. But that also meant I had some fun trying to find some books that I felt like I needed to talk to you about. And luckily I did find a small handful that met the criteria that I put into place with friendship. This, for me, means that the story weighs heavily on this friendship dynamic. The story, the plot, the character development would not happen if that friendship did not exist. We're gonna have Nissa come help us real quick. She's totally just she's gonna help me with the recommendations, guys. So you guys get to look at her butt while I give you the recommendations. No, I'm not going to do that to you. That would just be me. Okay, bye, baby girl. The first book that I want to talk about is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I have a feeling this is going to show up on a lot of lists because there is a good handful of us on BookTube who completely relate to Fangirl and the fanfic and the fandoms and the fangirliness of this story. But what I really like in this book is the friendship that develops between Kath and Reagan, which is Kath's college roommate. Reagan just pulls Kath out of her shell into the wild of college life, and Kath just blossoms into a person because of Reagan, and for that I had to give this a little shout out in case you haven't picked it up. Next is a middle grade read, but I felt like I needed to bring it up anyways because it's got the creep factor I like, but it also has a very interesting friend dynamic that we all relate to growing up, and that is Doll Bones by Holly Black. In this story we have Poppy, Zach, and Alice, who are a small group of friends, but they are growing up and their dynamic is starting to change. They all don't understand why and how, and then there's this group dynamic that they don't want to break up, but at the same time, because of these changes, things aren't going as smoothly as they used to. They end up going on an adventure together, all alone, to a town clear out of the way, because of this doll. And they're trying to bring this doll back to its original owners, and all kinds of creep ensues. I like the dynamic that Holly Black builds between these three, especially since they're at that weird, awkward age where you're sort of kind of a teenager, but you're not really, so you're starting to get some of those emotions and you don't know what to do with them. But at the same time, you still have that very childlike innocence that doesn't necessarily jive well with some of those emotions. And just the three of them learning to be, and it's a great read. Plus, it's got this really creepy factor, which I greatly appreciate. Then you have the Finishing School series by Gail Kaler-Jur. This whole series revolves around Saphira going to finishing school. So it's kind of like a boarding school for girls to learn to finish. Finish people, finish things. It's just political intrigue that these girls are going to fall into when they graduate. Saphira goes to this school and around her starts to form this really great friendship dynamic. They all have these quirks and their personalities don't seem like they would mesh well, but they're all little oddballs that come together and they fit really well, and they always encourage each other to grow and blossom and do what is right. And I really, really like this. Plus, characters' snark in these books are absolutely amazing. Plus, you can add in vampires and werewolf and steampunk. So you cannot go wrong with any of these books. Lastly, we have the Raven Cycle. I could not complete this recommendation list without bringing up Blue and her boys. This whole universe that Steve Otter creates with its mysticism and everything else is beautiful, but what really carries this story is the dynamic of the Raven boys themselves. So you've Ronan, Gansey, Noah, and Adam are all their own people, but the way they play together, it's interesting to see. They're not always very in tune with each other, which is true with life. That won't stop them from keeping the group together and living life and seeing where it takes them. And I just really like what Steve Otter has done with this kind of dynamic friendship. So those are my friendship recommendations. If you have any recommendations for me, because I am looking for more books, please leave them down below, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.